mindset training, and we're going to be talking about a new frame of mind. And this is going to be some serious and in-depth stuff that is absolutely going to change the way you view reality. Okay, so please do pay close attention. Just be like in a quiet room because this is literally going to be an absolute game changer for you. So I want to dive right into it. So let's get started. So essentially, we're going to be talking about the cage of society, okay, and why society behaves the way it does, and really how it kind of brainwashing people to be stuck in some sort of loop, which I'm going to be diving into later. Then we're going to be diving into the belief algorithm. Okay, we're going to be talking about kid evolution. We're going to be installing your new frame of mind and completely turn you into a new person. And then lastly, we're going to be talking about the loop of the past. And I'm going to give you guys an amazing workbook at the end that I want you to use every single morning and every single evening before you go to bed and the moment you wake up. So this module is going to be similar as seeing for the first time in the world. Okay. And the reason we're covering mindset is because it is essential to your success in entrepreneurship. Okay. Not just entrepreneurship, in life in general. I mean, if you would have the right mindset, you would already be successful, right? If you had the right mindset and you had the knowledge, you would already be there. But, we're not to that point yet. So we have to make sure this foundation is there and it is in order. So what I want you to do now is this. Okay. Be with me. I want you to think back to when you were a baby. Just close your eyes and just picture a frame of back in the past. Okay, just try to picture a frame of back in the past. And it is pretty hard, isn't it? You and I both have no idea what happened. But today I'm going to be clarifying where it all went wrong and how we get caged from the day we're born to the present moment and how to escape this cage of society. And I'll go more in depth about like what I mean with the cage of society. And we're all born to be absolutely relentless, but we're taught to relent. Just think about it for a second. We're already wired with the most basic instinct as babies that guarantee survival, right? Adaptation to change and the ability to learn new things, right? And as babies, we don't think about what we need. As babies, like we just know, right? We just know. Because when babies are hot, cold, wet, or tired, they scream, right? They just scream and act until they get satisfaction. Pure and immediate demands for satisfaction. And you cannot argue with a baby, okay, and tell him or her she's wrong or he's wrong. You can explain why he or she cannot eat right now or not get his or her demand, okay? Babies tell everyone how it's going to be, and that's exactly how it goes, right? And essentially, babies are just born to thrive, right? That means you are born to thrive. And babies, like, they are just completely and naturally relentless. And then as they grow up, walls of limitation get put up by society, and collective beliefs get ingrained into our system of acting, right? In every single aspect, the way we make decisions, the way we think, the way, like, just every single aspect, right? And they just start to grow older. And, once they're like 2 years old, they start making messes, shoving food into their hair, just being absolutely hyper, right? And excited about new experiences to be experienced in life. And societies start to cement limitations and beliefs into their system, right? And they don't even know it. Like, they're like 2 years old, like 5 or 10 years old. Like, how could they know? Like, how much of an impact this is going to have on them, like, as they grow up, right? Things get told to them, like, be quiet, right? Be normal, sit still, just be yourself, act normal. Why can you not be more like your brother or sister? Stop that, right? And then as we grow up, we go to school, and then we go to college, right? We got to get a degree in order to be successful, right? And then, once you have a degree in a well-paying job, then, you can go ahead and afford the bills, right? So the end game, essentially the mission to success in society is to marry and get a job that pays the bills. And that is success. And that is where learning ends. And that's kind of like, where, where it all just stops, for the individual going through this route. This is what I call the cage. Okay. I call this way of life the cage. And deep down, you can achieve more, and that there's absolutely more to life than what society defines as success, okay? And today marks a day that enough is enough, and it's time to open up your horizons and achieve what is yours to achieve since the day you were born and take it back into your own hands. So In this video, your worldview will change in how you perceive reality, and it is truly like seeing for the first time. Okay, and I'm going to start with showing you first why society is wrong, where it went wrong, and how its way of living is keeping you caged. So, the definition of society. So essentially, a society is a group of individuals involved in persistent social interaction, right? Persistent, or a large social group sharing the same geographical or social territory, right? Typically subject to the same political authority and dominant cultural expectations. So the system of society. So as society, we have collective beliefs, right? Like society just has a massive set of collective beliefs that can get ingrained into our belief system as we grow up, right? For instance, that you have to go to school, or that you have to believe in this thing, or you have to do this thing because the other thing is wrong, right? Everything we're being taught, just seems to be completely normal because everyone else is doing it, right? So if everyone else is doing it, then how can it be wrong, right? Like how could one person be wrong compared to, a full-on society? Right? There's common beliefs, common values, and this is how we define collective beliefs, right? And belief system. So essentially, a belief system is what we believe, okay? Experience and see. And what we believe, experience, and see becomes our reality. And the more of the thought of why something is right or wrong, right? We always put like a right label on something, or, oh, this is wrong, or this is right. We don't look outside of the box if we put like, just a label on something that something is right or wrong. Like, there's no variation. And the stronger the belief becomes, really defines how we live life ultimately, right? And you have to understand that beliefs become your reality. And so right now I'm going to be going more in depth on variation. So once you start to grow once you start to grow tired of what's in the light, you must face what is within the dark. Okay. So things that you're not used to or that you put a wrong label on. Okay. And this is once again not possible if we put a right or only a wrong on a particular belief. And this is where society went wrong, right? So I want to be first talking about how beliefs become our reality. So this is the equation to getting beliefs ingrained into your belief system. So what we have is a belief input, and then what happens we have a cause and an effect, right? And those two, once they are in a self-fulfilling reflexive cycle, they become our new reality. So I'm just going to give you an example, right? So some people say, I can't run a business, right? And then what happens if they keep repeating that to themselves? The brain doesn't look for any pathways because of the interfin belief, right? Because if you are telling this quote is so true, like whether you think you can or you can't, you're right in both ways, right? So if you tell yourself, I can't run a business, then the brain just doesn't look for pathways because of the interfin belief, right? And what happens, the effect of that is you are paralyzed by inaction because of the interfin belief. And then your reality will be you can't run a business, right? Another one. And this is actually more so of a positive one. So I will close my first sale by the end of this month, right? And what happens is the brain reverse engineers the belief input and takes the necessary actions in order to close the first sale by the end of this month, right? And your brain knows the action to take because you reverse engineered. So what you have to do is to set a meeting, right, and convert it into a sale. And once you only focus on those two things, we're going to be going more in depth on that later on, then you will close your first sale, right? It's kind of inevitable. If you only focus on those two things, that will get you a sale, right? How can you possibly not? The only way to lose is if you're not patient and, if you don't see any progress, and because you don't see any progress, you just quit. And that's the only way to not get a sale, right? So what we constantly tell ourselves is like a movie being replayed again and again in our brain until it becomes an ingrained belief in our brain like cement, okay? And that belief becomes our reality in business. However, business beliefs are not the roots of how we behave as individuals. As people, we never have business problems. It's always personal problems reflecting back into our business. And also it's our self-image that define how we stand in life. And this is the absolute root. So I call this the weapon of self. So you have to understand that the way you see yourself is how others see you. Okay. Once again, growing up, we take on one label at a time, one failure at a time. And this just piles up as a self-destructive formed weapon. We just shoot on ourselves, right? External opinions of society, for instance. And even though this may not always be like, because I've had some friends that just say, for like, because we're friends, that say stuff like, you're dumb, right? You're dumb, you're ugly, you're stupid, right? And we may take it as a joke at first, but we do believe it, right? And at the beginning, because we don't take it like in an offensive way, right? If our friends tell us this, then we don't take it offensively. So it starts off as like a really small belief, and what happens is it just goes back and forth in this self-fulfilling reflexive cycle until you actually believe you are dumb or ugly or stupid, or or you even label yourself as like, I'm an introvert, right? And then so you become an introvert and you will exactly behave like an introvert. There's no variation, right? And we become our own enemy by not intervening the right input into our belief system. Okay, you have to really understand and remember that your beliefs become your reality. This is why mindset is so important in business. And this is really what separates, an entrepreneur with a good mindset, like I'd say that's a good entrepreneur versus, a bad entrepreneur that just doesn't work on his mindset at all and just focus on the business strategy side of things. Don't get me wrong, the technical and the business side of things still has its importance, but this is the absolute foundational, this is the absolute foundation you build on. You have a business foundation and you have a mindset foundation, but even a business foundation is built on a mindset foundation, right? So essentially, your beliefs become your reality. And this is what happens when we're not self-aware and allow external ammunition, right? A negative view of ourselves, fill up the barrel of the weapon of self and just create like a terrible self-image. Because it's so easy to like let our downside slip and just let it take over. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself, right? It's so easy, but it takes more effort and courage to actually do the opposite and take full responsibility and not play victim in your life, right? So this is why we have to take matters into our own hands and fix this. And I'm going to exactly show you how you can fix this. So essentially, I'm going to give you another example of the weapon of self, right? So ammunition, you're ugly, right? So your brain starts looping the belief of an external opinion. And you now start to think you're ugly because that's what your brain is telling you, right? So brain confirms and cements the belief, and you start thinking you're ugly. You're going to be hiding your face. You're going to be wearing caps. Like all these kind of things happen because of our self-image. Once again, guys, the way we look at ourselves is so important. Every single morning, I'm in front of the mirror. I tell myself, and some of you may laugh right now, but this has been life-changing for me, how handsome I am, what I've accomplished so far. I remind myself of my wins. And that just really, like, helps me get a good self-image because it's the absolute root of your self-confidence in absolutely everything, okay? So what we have to do is destroy the weapon of self. So you have to do three things in order to destroy the weapon of self. Number one is take full responsibility of your life, starting today and ending never. Absolutely fucking never. Okay? Making a responsible decision to never play the victim again and erase this mentality from your bias. Erase it from your system. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't ever be there again. Okay? And number three, you want to take the necessary actions to repair your self-image, which I will help you with step by step. So mind of a winner. And you have to understand that everything boils down to you, and where you are in life and your current situation is all because of yourself. No one else, not the government, not your friends, not your family. It's you. Okay? Because the belief algorithm can only be controlled by you and your mind. So it all boils down to you. Okay? You can never blame anything on anyone. There's no like dark force or grim reaper or person holding you back. It's you, and it has always been you, right? And the moment we point our fingers to another person, like the government or family or friends, we do ourselves an absolute disservice because it's an easy and loser fix to blame external things. It's so easy. Oh, it's her fault. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's the government's fault. Oh, yeah. So that happened, the other day outside, and it's because of that person that, just ran by and did that. So that's why it happened. It's always so easy to blame it on others. And, what we have to do instead is by always putting the blame on yourself, you improve, okay? You start learning to take responsibilities into your life and how to handle them correctly. And today, once again, where you are standing in life in all aspects, it's all because of the decisions you took day by day. And this is where it's gotten you today. It's a sum of all the decisions and actions you've taken that have led to where you're sitting today, with the number in the bank account you have today, and the way you look today, the way your health is today, everything. It's all you. It's nothing and no one else. Okay. Life is a compound of the decisions we take day in and day out. Okay, so start taking full responsibility of your life and realize no one or anything external is holding you back. You have to understand that everything you need is already within yourself. And if you're saying, "Oh, that sounds so fucking cliche," well, keep that mindset and see where it takes you. Okay, because this is the absolute fucking truth, and it's gotten me where I am today, and also for a lot of other people. Okay, so erase the victim mentality. It's an absolute loser mentality because losers get nothing. Okay, so if you feel like sorry for yourself from time to time, which may happen, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Go sit in the corner. Okay, and then when you're ready, get back to join the winners because the winners take absolutely fucking everything. So repairing our self-image. So what we want to do is destroy the weapon of self. So what I want you to do right now, okay? So pause this video, get a pen and paper. Please get a pen and paper and note down 10 things that you identify yourself with, you know? So for instance, I'm ugly, right? I'm an introvert. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at sales. I don't know how to run Facebook ads, right? Whatever it may be for you, write it down on a piece of paper. So write down 10 negative opinion or labels you identify yourself as and leave one line open underneath, okay, to replace it with the next action step. So pause this video, do this first, and then only move on to the next slide. Okay, guys? It's one thing to consume content and it's another thing to actually go ahead and execute on it, right? So please pause it. So if you've done it, awesome. We're going to be moving on to the next slide. So the new persona. So what I want you to do right now is to note down 10 big wins of your life that you've had, right? So it could be, I'm working on my own business to build a better future for myself and my family. You know, I'm educating myself while I used to only party and do nothing 1 year ago. You know, I feel special and happy. I'm an amazing person because I do this to help others in the future to be the change I needed, right? So what I usually tell myself in the morning is like, I'm handsome. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I'm great at sales. I've done over 2,000 sales calls. I'm making 30K a month. I have an educational platform. I'm helping hundreds and hundreds of people online. Right, guys, find what it is for yourself. Right? So action. Write down 10 wins of your life. They don't have to be big, right? It's just important we start repairing our self-image as we build bigger wins over time. So write down that these 10 wins in the open line and scratch out the negative self-image beliefs. And once you've done that, okay, next action step is title the piece of paper positive self-image exercise, as we're going to be implementing this into our morning routine too. So just pause this, get it done, guys. If you don't get it done, just you're doing yourself a disservice, okay? So please do it. So essentially, we're going to be covering the positive self-image exercise. So basically, I'm going to give you guys, this is the standard algorithm for it. So we start with the exercise. We have a line we say, and we read this line to ourselves. We picture a positive visualization. We feel a positive emotion along with it and just let it run through our body. Okay. This becomes our new positive self-image. And it's the consistency, which I'm going to be talking about too later on, that you have with this. Okay. It's not like you do it one day and then the next 6 days you don't do it. That just doesn't work with nothing. Now with exercising, or with brushing your teeth, absolutely nothing. Okay. So make sure you do this every single day. And we're going to be going more in depth on this in the morning routine. So just an example. So start off the positive self-image exercise. I usually do it in front of a mirror, right? I say try out different things and see what works best for you. So an example is I'm educating myself while I used to only party and do nothing 1 year ago. I feel special and happy, right? So read the line out loud, visualize a positive picture, and feel the emotions you've added to the line. Okay. And this is going to be the new perceivement of the new self-image, right? So right now, since we've covered that, we're going to be going more in depth once again on this in the morning routine. Now we're going to be talking about why society is wrong. Okay. So collective beliefs of society, and there's a lot of collective beliefs. So I just put a few examples, a few mainstream examples, so you can have an understanding of what I'm trying to talk about here. So if you vote for Trump, right? I remember back a couple of years ago, if you do that, you're an absolute racist, right? And if you're working on your future and say no to social events, you're antisocial and you don't care about your friends, right? If you don't dress like a normal person, you're strange and look with mouths open at. If you don't go to school, you will not be successful. If you don't get a job, you're lazy and wasting away your life. If you prefer to be alone and don't socialize, you're a loner and you will get nowhere in life, right? And this is what's wrong with society. Because the only way to fit in is to avoid variation, and variation is essential to evolution in your life, right? And in order to evolve, we must become unbiased and bring what's been in the dark for a lifetime to light. So let me just give you a great visual example. So if you drop out of college or don't get a degree, you will never be successful. What does society say? Right, that is correct. And once you start putting a right on that skill, you're going to believe that, and it's going to get ingrained into your brain. Remember the belief algorithm, guys? And your reality will become that, right? So without college, you will never be successful, and your brain doesn't look for any other paths to be successful, as college seems to be the only way. And guys, I'm a college dropout. Either way, back to the point, lack of variation. Therefore, it makes complete sense in your mind, right? By just putting a label on it. So if there's no variation with right and wrong, then you will find nothing outside of, the pathways when you only put a right on it. And this is the problem with being biased. Okay. So if you're going to start researching more about the belief where you put wrong on that skill, you're only going to see more and more people, communities, articles, and statements about people who are successful without college, right? That's the thing, guys. So it's time to lose the binary stance of one true me and not me. Allow variation in your life for new pathways in your life to take. So becoming unbiased. And in order to evolve, you have to look at both sides of the spectrum. Okay? We must understand that holding a side on anything while ignoring the opposite will require us to eventually face the opposite. And what you've put in the dark must be brought to light if you want to evolve as an individual. The only way to be wrong is to choose a side, guys. And once you pick a side, you resist change. And when you resist change, you resist evolution. And therefore, society is clinched to one identity by having collective beliefs, by remaining biased, and doesn't ever escape the cage. So, the pursuit of identity. So here's just a few examples that I wanted to go over so it makes more sense to you. So we have people, employees in society that just say this. I have no degree, right? So when I ask someone like, hey, what do you do? They say, yeah, so, I have no degree and, therefore work at a restaurant and that's all I can do because I have no degree, right? Or ask someone else. So, hey, what do you do? Yeah, so I'm just a student and therefore, I'm still learning how to run a business. Therefore, I cannot start my own business, right? Groups. So I just walk up to a group like, hey, so what kind of group is this? So I'm an emo, and therefore I'm an oversensitive person, have dyed black hair, tight t-shirt and jeans, and this is all I know and am, right? And this is clinching into an identity in a collective form of society's beliefs, avoiding variation without even knowing it, and therefore growth by labeling yourself as just a student or employee. Identity. So people are always looking to identify themselves as something, and they never seem to find the answer, right? And it's because you don't just become something and that's it. You don't just become an employee. That's it for the rest of your life, or a student, right? Or whatever. And that, that's not it. As humans, we're always evolving, learning and adapting. It's natural instinct and the law of nature. And that's why people join certain friends, groups, communities, etc., to try and find identity, right? To try and fit in. And to try and answer their own question of like, so who am I? What am I, right? This is why people try to go from current situation to desired situation, right? They just never seem to get the answer. And in reality, there's no answer to this. Once again, as humans, we are always evolving. Everything is always moving and changing. You don't just become something and that's it. Nothing is static in this universe. The never-ending question is, who am I becoming? And this is probably the most important part of the whole training. Remember this question, who am I becoming? And ask yourself this every single day. So this is reality in society. So just a couple of quotes from society that just keep you stuck. Number one is just be yourself, right? We probably all know that one from our parents, like when we're having a bad day and, they just try to comfort us, or we're trying to do something new, right? And they just say, just be yourself, right? Stick to your roots. Don't forget where you came from, right? And all these sayings, they just keep you stuck in the cage of society. And it's an identity buildup of stories from the past, things that have already happened, and avoid the key to evolution, which is variation. So remember this. And this is, if there's something you should take away from the training, it is this question. So the never-ending question you should ask yourself every day is, who am I becoming? And this is a quote from one of my mentors, Sam Ovens. So the key to all evolution is variation. And when you start to grow tired of what is in the light, you must face what is in the dark. We must understand the dualism that exists in our mind and lose the binary sense of one true right and wrong and one true me and not me. Nothing is static and everything in this universe is forever becoming. The real question is, who am I becoming? Sam Ovens. So, new frame of mind. And in the next slide, I'm going to be covering pillars to a completely new frame of mind. Consume the content, take notes, and implement this. This is going to change your life, okay? Guys, I'm so excited for this. So let's dive right into it. So installing your new frame of mind. So number one is routines, okay? Having routines in place is essential to growth. Without morning and evening routines, self-education and personal development, we become quite static, right? While we have the opportunity to always become something else. And accept that learning more about yourself and attaining new knowledge is a never-ending journey. Like you can really tell the difference of someone's future. One person's morning routine, for example, is waking up at like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, not even brushing his teeth or doing his hair and drinking like a liter of cola and playing video games all day versus a person who has a good morning routine, has work blocks in the afternoon and works objectively, right? We can conclude those two futures just based off routines, right? Routines are essential, guys, and we're going to be breaking down every component as we go. Objectives. So you have to understand that you can achieve anything you want in life, and that's the absolute beauty of it. But you have to get clear about what you want. You have to reverse engineer the objective, note down the daily actions, and take absolutely relentless action. Focus. So in order to attain focus, you have to do the opposite, right? Which is distraction. So what you want to do is you want to remove all distractions within your environment and life to attain absolute laser focus on the objective at hand. So, and this has been a big one for me lately. So be able to resist impulses from instant gratification to attain more self-control. All business is delayed gratification. And we live in a world full of instant gratification with social media, getting something within an instance of a second, right? So eat clean. You are what you eat. So eat clean to be more productive, look better, live longer, be more energized, etc. I don't even have to explain this one. Why would you want to eat bad and look worse, have worse energy, live like a shittier existence, live less longer, right? So discipline. Remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you cannot discipline yourself to the necessary pillars to a new frame of mind, this is not going to work out, okay? But also understand that no one does this perfectly all the time. But those who come most close to perfection, those are the people who are going to absolutely win. Okay. And that consistency. It's not the one time you do it, right? It's the months upon months of executing the same routines, daily actions, and your plan to get where you want to be at. It's the consistency. And then lastly, your old self will be in a war with the person you're trying to become, right? So we have to love pain. You have to love pain. You have to embrace the pain and discomfort, right? Until that voice of pain fades away, growth happens when you confront difficulties and cross the border of pain. So I'm going to be breaking down every single component in this video. Routines. So routines, having a consistent and disciplined routine in the day will set you up for absolute success, okay? So first, let's cover sleep, guys, because this is a huge one, which a lot of people neglect. Okay, messing with your sleep, and not going to bed at a specific time at the evening and waking up at a specific time in the morning will mess with your hormones, right? Your chemicals will be all over the place, and therefore your performance and energy comes from sleep, guys. And without energy, you can't do anything. Make sure you get at least 7.5 hours of sleep every single night. Okay, and for some of you, you may be like thinking, "Oh, that's never gonna work out for me." Right? Well, make sure it works out for you and just cut back 2 hours on social media or something that just doesn't serve you to your objective. Cut it out and get your sleep in, right? So an action for now is, and please pause this video during the action steps, is set a strict time you want to go to bed at and wake up at, okay? Respect your sleep, really respect it. And the bedroom should only be used for two things only: sex and sleep, and nothing else. Okay, you don't want to be messing with your brain and thinking that the bedroom is also for work. So another action step is divide your workspace from your bedroom to attain better sleep quality. Okay, the brain just gets confused if both spaces are within the same room. So in the persona growth regime, we'll be implementing your evening and morning routine step by step, which is the next couple of slides. So, routines. First of all, we're going to be talking about evening routine, right? We're going to be covering how to prime our body and brain for sleep. So, what I always do, and this is an absolute killer, guys, I'm having the best sleep of my life just implementing this stuff. Okay, so please take this seriously. Don't take this lightly. So, before you go to bed, what you want to do is set a reverse alarm. Okay, so if you want to be in bed by 11:30 p.m., set your 60-minute alarm starting at 10:30 p.m., which takes off at 11:30 p.m. Right, and at that exact time, you should be in bed and have done everything that we're about to cover. And then also following, once you set your alarm, you want to make sure the temperature is in order. This has a huge impact on your sleep. Okay, being too cold isn't good, and being too hot in temperature wise just isn't good. So 23 degrees Celsius is an absolute killer of a temperature to have your bedroom ventilated with. So make sure that gets done if you have an AC. And then a brain dump, right? So write everything down that's on your mind on a paper to leave it for the next day. You don't want to be in bed and having dozens and dozens of thoughts, being afraid of, forgetting something that you should be doing tomorrow. Just brain dump it and put it on a piece of paper, right? Technology. So what you want to be doing is place your technology on airplane mode, right? And essentially just not talk to anyone anymore. Like once you go to bed, once again, you are going to be respecting your sleep, right? Once you've done that, go ahead, start pre-planning your day exactly on what you're going to be doing in the morning, in the afternoon with work blocks, etc., and adapt. So leave your workspace once you've done all of this. Once again, we don't want to like be confusing our brain that our bedroom is also our workspace, because it's just going to mess with our sleep. So 30 minutes out. What I always do, and this is really awesome, guys, and anyone should be able to afford this. If not, let me know and I can send you over, this via whatever. So sleep inducement, guys. Chamomile tea is a great natural sleep inducer, and this will help your latency levels of falling asleep faster naturally. And basically, latency levels is kind of like the representative for how fast you can fall asleep. And a healthy amount of minutes is, falling asleep within 15 minutes of time once you are in your bed, right? And then also what you want to be doing is front load. You want to prepare all your clothes and items for the next day to avoid decision fatigue in the morning. Okay? Because your brain is dehydrated when it wakes up, right? It is just starting up. Just like a computer when it's just starting up, it needs time to get on and working, right? And also what you want to be doing after you've front loaded everything, you want to limit deep conversations. Right? You want to be in a state of inactiveness and get your thoughts clear to avoid your brain starts thinking it should be awake, right? By being inactive, we prime our brain essentially for sleep, right? If you're being inactive, the body just gets tired. And that's good because once we're in bed, it's going to help us with the latency of it. So once we're in bed, all your thoughts should be brain dumped. Your body and brain is primed for sleep. Your work is front loaded. And the moment you wake up, everything is absolutely ready to go. And then the morning routine. So start your day right and the rest will follow. And there's a huge truth to this, guys. There's a difference between the person, I can give you a great example of myself. I remember back at my internship, I literally had my alarm 10 minutes set from, waking up to me getting on my bike, heading on my way to my internship. Just 10 minutes. I didn't have time for personal development, self-education, meditation, nothing, right? So just start your day right and the rest will follow. And it's also like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you start the day reactively, you don't take care of yourself, it's going to reflect into your business and other aspects of your life. So really start your day right and the rest will follow. So what I do and what you guys should do too, and this is just a basic protocol to start with, is wake up. You want to do 3 productive tasks to start your day productive. So one is make up your bed, okay? Because, just this one small thing it's a win, right, guys? We want to be stacking small wins. And then what you want to do is do 10 push-ups. Drink 500 milliliters of water, which is front-loaded on the desk alongside the phone, right? You did it evening up front. And after those 2 productive tasks, grab your preset clothes. Go to the bathroom, apply your hygiene stuff, brush your teeth, do your hair, put on your deodorant, do what you got to do, and then go to the living room. Do 10 minutes of meditation. Read a book. Right. So this is kind of like personal preference. I started with just writing 10 pages and then 20 pages. And then I just started to actually not read in the morning anymore. And I decided to actually make it a hobby of mine and just read throughout the day. All right. So see what works for you. And then the positive self-image exercise. Make sure you do this, guys. Okay, make sure you do this. I went over this a couple of slides ago, like 10 minutes ago. So if you forgot about it, you should have a paper by now with the 10 wins of you that should be ready for your positive self-image exercise. Okay, and then physical movement. So what you want to do is either go for the 20-minute walk or a 54-minute exercising session in the gym. Right. So if you do decide to do a 20-minute walk, I suggest to shower at in the morning, or if you go to the gym, I would suggest showering after the gym, or you can do both. It's personal preference once again. So then after that, return from the gym, you are back at home. You want to go ahead, take a cold shower, and you want to dress up. Once again, apply those hygiene standards. Take a caffeinated drink. So I've tried a lot of things, guys, and what has been working really well for me. And obviously, you don't want to be abusing caffeine, right? Don't say caffeine is a bad thing, right? Because if you do that, I mean, if you drink too much water, it's bad, for instance, right? Well, water is really healthy. If you eat too much of anything, right, it's always going to be bad. So just dose it. So I'd say take a caffeinated drink, start your first work block. Objectives. So once again, guys, you can't have anything you want in life, but you have to be clear on what you want. You have to be really pinpoint clear on what you want in life. And then what you want to do is reverse engineer. And I'm going to give you a great example in the next slide. So if you set an objective, don't deviate from it. Don't do stupid shit like building a website if your goal is to close a sale, right? You have to reverse engineer the process and clearly determine what daily actions you have to take relentlessly to get there, right? And a focus. Anything that doesn't contribute to the task at hand needs to be moved out of your sight and life for the time being. Right? Remove distractions and spend your time and energy wisely into the daily actions. So how do you get daily actions, right? So let's say your objective is, I want to close my first $2,000 client before December 31, 2019. Reverse engineer. So you have to ask yourself good questions, right? Instead of, like, why would I be worthy of being paid 2,000, right? That's just like where your brain just stops looking for the answers, right? So instead what we have to do is ask yourself good questions and start with, okay, so what's the client going to pay me $2,000 for, right? So number one you have to do here is define your result-based offer and what niche you're helping, right? Another one is, where do I find a client paying me $2,000, right? And guys, they're everywhere. On a daily, like 500 million every single day is transactions just through the internet, right? You just have to look in the right place. Utilize the outreach methods inside this program to reach out to clients and set meetings. So how can I close a $2,000 deal, right? So just practice sales and participate in strategy sessions, close, and don't stop. These are the daily actions you have to take. Okay, getting people in your market on a strategy session through outreach, and you want to convert them. You want to convert those people in your market to a client investing into your result-based offer, which brings us down to sales, right? And nothing else matters. Anything that doesn't contribute to the task at hand needs to be moved out of your sight. Remove distractions and spend your time and energy wisely into daily actions. So these are just some pitfalls to avoid that I'm really guilty of back in the day. So busy work. When you're working at the task at hand, don't let your mind fool you that you need anything aside of the daily actions, right? Because often when we face difficulties, right, the unknown, we look for distractions to work on and justify to ourselves as work. And I call this busy work. And busy work does not move the needle in the business. So examples of busy work is building a website, getting your payment method set up, like doing all this preliminary stuff that shouldn't be done at that very moment. You should be focusing on the daily actions because that can always be done, right? Another one is lack of action. So make sure you're taking the required daily actions. Knowing what you have to do is great, right? But ultimately executing on what you have to do it with matters the most. Don't be afraid. Look fear, pain, and discomfort front on, dead in the fucking eyes, and be absolutely relentless in what you want to be doing. Okay? And input. Know that input isn't always going to be directly equal to output. Right? It's not like if you work 12 hours a day, then you get, the same kind of result. I hope that makes sense, guys. By simply knowing what you have to do and actually doing it. Right? It doesn't have to take you 12 hours. If you feel like you're not doing enough, good. Just focus on a task that moves the needle in your business only and get it done. This is how you achieve more by doing less. So some people just create a list, right, where they have 12 hours of work and think that they are going to see some massive result, right? It's the same mindset as going to the gym for 9 hours a day and thinking you're going to get like double the size of your muscles, right? It's a daily actions and a compound effect, which we're also going to be talking about. So, resisting impulses. So, guys, we live in a world full of instant gratification. Common impulses we have in society as entrepreneurs are, checking on social media often, picking up the phone to check for a notification, craving sugars, biting nails, going out to party and drink, playing video games, smoking, hitting the snooze button, buying something impulsively, and it's really time to cut back on these things. So what is instant gratification? So instant gratification is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment without delay or deferment. Basically, it's when you want it and you want it now, right? Instant gratification is the opposite of what we've been taught and try hard to practice delayed gratification, which is kind of the synonym for business. And we live in a world full of instant gratification. It's full of it. And all businesses at the end of the day is delayed gratification. It's a sum of the compoundments of the sum of small efforts and daily actions we put in and day out into it. So let me tell you this. Success equals sacrifice. And if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. And look at this fire right here, this campfire as your energy. And every time you sacrifice something and throw it on the fire, it sparks with energy and time free to spend on your business. You can't have it all. And you have to accept that. And you have to also accept that you have to sacrifice. And it's painful. But look at the most successful people in the world, the GOATs, the greatest of all times. They have an immensely high pain tolerance. And that's why they are so successful. They sacrifice. They literally dedicate their entire being and existence to the pursuit of success. All the thoughts, all the energy, all the time that you invest into these things that cause instant gratification and that do not contribute to your success, your objective, sacrifice it and throw it on the fire. So know what forms the impulses and forms of instant gratification that hold you down and throw it on the fire and don't ever look back at it. So instead of checking on social media, put your phone in airplane mode when you're doing work and don't even have your phone in sight, right? Craving sugars, just eat clean, right? A bad diet will make you feel bad, make you look worse. You'll experience a shittier existence and you'll live less longer. Why would you want that, right? It just makes no sense. And biting nails, for instance. So self-awareness is key with this. So every time an impulse strikes, strike back and take control of yourself, right? Going out to party and drink. It's really simple with this. Throw this on the fire and don't ever look back, okay? Until you learn to prioritize your business. And then you can look for balance after. Doesn't mean you have to forever delete it out, right? Sometimes, it's going to be New Year's Eve. And you want to go ahead and get a drink and party, right? But guys, you have to throw this on the fire for the time being and don't ever look back until you learn to prioritize your business. Same with video games. Same with smoking, right? Hitting the snooze button. So download Alarm on your phone. Integrate the QR option with a barcode and put the product on your desk to physically force yourself to get out of bed, okay? And then buying something impulsively. It's the same thing with biting nails. You have to be self-aware with this. It is absolute key. So every time an impulse strikes, you have to strike back and take control of yourself. Now, consistency. So this is a quote by Albert Einstein, and this is so true. It says the compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, right? He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. Albert Einstein. So what most people think a business gratification looks like, right? So we have a start, right? Our starting point, and then we have our goal. And then we have a time span, right? So that's our perceived time, how long we think it takes to reach our goal. And then the amount of revenue, right? So we want to hit like essentially a certain amount of revenue. So this is what people think it looks like. You start and you just make money, and you're at your goal just like that, right? And this is why most people give up and lose, because that is how they think it works, right? Because they are so used to instant gratification and give up on their goals and never let the compound effect do its work. Compound interest is once again the eighth wonder of the world, right? He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. So this is what business gratification actually looks like. So this is the starting point, right? And first 1, 3, 6, no, sometimes even a year, you'll see nothing. And then all these daily actions you put in, they help pay off, right? It's the exponential growth that happens, Same with Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett. By being patient and accepting the business delayed gratification and the sum of small efforts and daily actions we take in and day out is the result of our business. Okay. So this is essentially to see it. This is the compound effect doing its work, right? We have daily actions, we have compound effect, and one day it just clicks, right? Just clicks right here. Just goes all the way up. And this is exactly how it went from 0 to 20K a month, right? Back a couple of months ago, right? It just went like this, and it's still going up. It is still going up, guys. This time being, I learned a lot. Don't get me wrong. And those are like also the forms of success to look at. Because what a lot of people do, they only think that a financial return on investment is the only form of success in entrepreneurship, but it's not. Okay, it's the mindset you build along with it, along the journey. It's the people you meet along the journey. It's the new things you learn. It's the new knowledge you attain. It's the new habits you learn. It's all these things. It's not just the financial. Okay, like what this graph is all about the financial, right? But people don't see the mindset. They don't see the network you build. They don't see the story you build. They don't see the mistakes you learn from, the things you learned, right? These are all things people oversee, and they just give up because they only want instant gratification, which is money. And that's just not how it works, guys. So, and it's the same with the smallest things in life, right? Brushing your teeth for 2 minutes one day won't make a difference unless you do it every single day, right? Going to the gym for 9 hours in one day doesn't get you fit. It's going every single day for 20 minutes, right? It's the consistency and the compound effect. Now, loving pain. So, guys, this is a picture behind with Muhammad Ali, who has great discipline and an immense high pain tolerance. Okay, so you have to understand that pain is your dark side, but it's also your biggest asset towards growth as an individual. Okay, and most people, when pain arises, people flee to their comfort zone. It's like a natural reaction because that's the way they grew up, right? When something uncomfortable happens, just flee to your comfort zone, right? When challenges or difficulties arise. And that's why most people are most people, all right? And right now, guys, it's a new frame of mind which we're working on. So pain is the barrier you have to cross in order to experience growth and let compound effect do its work. And most people wonder how successful people can take so much pain, right? And it's because they actually kind of like it, okay? And they turn their uncomfort into a comfort zone by facing pain head on and looking it dead in the eyes and leveling up each time they go through pain barriers, right? And each barrier they break through brings them to a higher tier in their journey. And that's why it's so fucking lonely at the top. People avoid pain. It's like a door you have to pass, right? And there's only one door to new heights. So if you want to get abnormal, you need to do abnormal. And if you want to get normal, then, do normal. So guys, next time you're in the gym and you're in excruciating pain, take self-control with your mind. Take an objective view, as if like a camera's pointing at you. You see yourself, and that camera is essentially your mind, and your brain, your body is like a character being played by your mind, right? Take control of it, and don't let the character take control of your mind. So, when it wants to stop in the gym, right? When you're doing like these reps, and you're in pain, that's when you start counting them. Okay. Same with a business challenge, right? Next time it arises, you don't back down. You confront it, you look pain in the eye and absolutely demolish it. And next time you're running the back out of your work block because you're losing focus, you're getting tired, you don't stop and bash right through the barrier of to retain a longer focus capability, right? And in your journey, guys, push the barriers and commit to new heights in every single area where challenges arise and be relentless with this. So these are the key components that you have to understand, abide, and implement in order to become who you really want to become. And whenever you feel lost or you feel like you're reverting back to your old self, come back to this video, okay? Ultimately, this is all going to come down to discipline. Successful people let it come down on discipline and train themselves every single day. Motivation comes and goes, and it's just like a luxury, guys. If you have motivation, great, use it. But if you don't have it, get disciplined. Because if you rely on motivation and emotional support, you yourself and your business will only last so long. Okay. And now we're going to dive into the final stages to understand why most people never change. And I'll also be showing you how we can change by understanding the loop of the past. So it's time to dive into the final stages of your new frame of mind. So right now, I'm going to be showing you why it feels like you're reliving the same day over and over again. And I'm sure you've had moments in your life where, your energy channels are bursted with motivation, right? And you're just like telling yourself that, this is going to be the day where your life starts to change and everything gets better. But then no later than a few days, you're referred back into the same person you've been for years and years. Exactly back to point A, time and time again. And it's because we use reference points from the past in the present moments, which then dictate our future. And therefore, our future becomes our past. So the loop of the past, reference points. So in the present moment, we tend to directly reroute back into our brain to the past to use as less energy as possible. Okay? And it's a vicious loop. Because therefore, if we use a reference point from the past in the present, our present becomes our past, and therefore our future, our past, right? So just a past reference point example. So I filled that meeting in the past, right? So the moment you set a meeting, first thing you're going to be thinking about is the previous meeting you had, which you filled, right? So what you're going to be saying is, I filled the meeting in the past, and therefore I will fill it again because I don't know any better. If you have no variation, right? And you have to remember that beliefs become our reality. And every time this happens, it's just like one vicious loop in a self-fulfilling reflexive cycle and destroys any room for growth. And this is the loop of the past that most people are stuck in, and most people of the time never break out of. Why do you think people work in 9 to 5 for 40 years long? It's because they don't know any better. It's the only way they know how to make money, and they avoid variation. And they just live the past over and over again because they just don't know any better. And what we have to do instead is this. So what we have to do is install a new frame of mind and forget about the past. We're not the sum of our past stories and events. Okay? As humans, we can become anyone we want to become. And the never-ending question is, once again, who am I becoming? Okay? In the past, you're starting with a completely new, white, clean slate. Because the person you are today will never become successful. Otherwise, you would already be, right? So you're starting with a completely new, white, clean slate. Commitment. So commit to a life with a clean slate and installing your new frame of mind to become you've always dreamed of becoming, right? Because guys, we are never going to be our dreams. We become the minimum standards we set for ourselves. You're never going to be your highest dreams. So set standards and always bring them upwards. But make sure they're irrefutable and you don't breach them. You have to fight like hell to not breach those standards, okay? And take an action. You don't just commit. You take relentless action with the new person you're trying to become, day in and day out, and love the pain and resist the impulses of reverting back. So we're going to put like a cross through the past. And instead, we're going to use points from the person we want to become and use those reference points into the present. And then that becomes our future, right? It's as simple as that, guys. And this is your new frame of mind. So create it, raise it, protect it, discipline it, build on it, evolve it, and love it. Transcendence of self. So guys, I've prepared a workbook for you that I want you to go through every single day. And this is absolutely going to help you become the person you want to become. So I'm going to give you guys a run on it right now. So basically, it's here. So these are just some instructions. So read your Transcendence of Self workbook every single morning and every single night before you go to bed. Okay, because the practices inside this book are life-changing, and make sure you do the work. Because the only way to not become who you want to become is by not following the instructions. And these are just some important things to remember. So read all these 5 lines every single morning and evening, and take this algorithm wherever you go with in life whenever you're trying to ingrain a new belief. Okay, always remember this, and always remember these 5 lines. So in this identity page, what I have is people that I want characteristic traits from, right? And how I want to represent myself into the world, right? By having Jesus here, for instance, by loving other people, right? That's why I want to help other people. I want to give back because I know how it was to be in such a situation. And then I want to like also speak in front of a public audience. I love Quentin Chat's positivity and how he helps people and gives them opportunity. I love Sam Offen's his knowledge, the wisdom he has, the discipline he has, the pain tolerance he has. I love how this guy enjoys life and has amazing discipline and just a lot of other stuff. And this is my mentor. This is Dan Locke. And that's essentially it, guys. And just use some keywords that you want to represent yourself as. So I represent myself as a multimillionaire, a reformer. I know how to lead, right? I'm an icon. I'm a god. I'm a philosopher. That's what I identify myself as. Then a vision board. So essentially what I have in here, I want to have a great relationship, right? I have a beautiful girlfriend at the moment and I've never been happy before and I want to maintain that. And, so that is in my vision board. And I also want to have my own office, right? And at one point I want to be able to donate to charity and help other causes and help people like in third world countries with education. And this is like the agency cultivation picture, right? That you see in the teachable page. It's all about cultivating a community and helping out each other. It's about supporting each other, being there for each other. And I want to have a penthouse, right? With a beautiful view that I already have at the moment. But I want to level up really soon. So I also want to do public speaking in front of a huge audience. So this is representation of someone speaking in front of a huge audience. And a private jet. I want to get a private jet because it's just cool. And, it's just a great milestone for myself. It's not like a necessity, but it's going to be efficient for sure. So, and then a library, because I don't want to ever stop learning, right? I don't want to ever stop learning because learning is a never-ending journey. And then here we have goals. So set your monthly business goals, okay? Reverse engineer. Set your annual business goals, reverse engineer. Set your health and fitness goals. Like, guys, these are just examples that you can use that I'm using myself. And just switch them up to the way you want it to be. Set your own goals. Don't copy and paste blindly, okay? This is just me giving you the opportunity to shape, yourself into a completely different person. Okay. So set your goals, health and fitness, personal behavior, unquestionable standards. And essentially what I have here for you guys is affirmations. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to read these out loud and you want to feel the emotion and visualize a picture alongside it. So for instance, I am a motivated and energetic person. I feel good every single day. This makes me feel healthy, happy, and energetic, right? So what I do, I just close my eyes. I picture myself going outside for a run, for instance, and me being motivated and energetic and feeling the emotions of being healthy, happy, and energetic. So this is what you want to be doing with every single affirmation. So I would say start with one page first. Okay, if it's taking too much time to do all, which I can understand, just do one. Okay. So guys, this is going to be yours for you to use. And this is going to be absolutely life-changing stuff. And I cannot wait for you to implement this. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if this helped you. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.